In the context for Rainbow Six Siege, when you hear the word overpowered, what do you immediately think of? For year 1 players, you'll probably think of Blackbeard with his 800 HP rifle shield that completely protects his head. But it doesn't matter if you're a new or old player, what probably comes up to your mind is Ella's 50-round Scorpion with no recoil and high fire rate, or even Lion's completely busted gadget that literally gave you wall hacks. But the operator currently in Siege that I see no one talking about other than the pro scene is really problematic and could potentially hurt the competitiveness of Siege. What I'm referring to is Solace. See, in the current meta, people can argue that a zombie is a little bit more overpowered because her Kiba barriers are basically 5 deployable shields. And while I understand that, the issue with a zombie compared to Solace is that you actively have to be thinking about where you are placing your Kibas and exactly how the formation is going to be made. But before we talk about Solace's gadget, I want to talk about her loadout. As you can see by the gameplay, she comes with a P90 SMG that has 50 rounds in the magazine with a good fire rate, low recoil, but admittedly low damage, but the fire rate immensely makes up for it. And she has the SMG-11, which doesn't have any of those issues that I mentioned with the P90, other than the fact that it has a 17-round magazine, but everything else, stat-wise, makes up for it. And not to mention, with her secondary gadget, she comes with the impact grenades, which is pretty good for site setup, but it can also really help for roaming if you need to make a quick rotation down a hatch or through another wall. But you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, the P90 and the SMG-11 combo isn't really that strong. He's probably going to talk about the gadget, and you're entirely right. And I'm going to be honest, Solace's gadget is probably the most overpowered gadget we have received in the last 4 years of content. With the press of your gadget button and a 13-meter radius, you can see any of the attacker's electronics. Now, you're thinking, okay, so that's just IQ on defense. What's the issue with that? The issue with that is one of the strongest aspects of the attackers is the fact that they have 2 drones. And just like IQ, if the attackers hops on their drones, Solace can see exactly where they are with their phones because it is an electronic. Solace can just simply hop out of a window if they're joining by a window, and she can get the easiest kill known to man. And it's not only the drones that I'm talking about, it's whatever electronics that the attackers can bring. So if a Nook tries to activate her ability, Solace within a 13-meter radius can see exactly where Nook is going. So the element of surprise that Nook can bring is completely gone because of Solace. Usually gadgets like this have a long animation to activate, but Solace literally just taps her right hand and the gadget is just activated. And she taps her hand again and instantly deactivates her gadget and she has her gun back immediately. In terms of roaming, she is just the best roamer now, because she can not only detect where the drones are and make her decisions that way, but again, she can see the attackers because they are droning because they bring out their phone. And one of the strongest aspects about roaming is that they delay so much time from the attackers. In order for the attackers to properly clear them out, they need to properly drone. But with Solace, they basically can't do that, and they even risk their own life trying to clear her out. And don't forget, with her animation of deactivating and activating her gadget, it's almost instantaneously. So she has her gun back and so she can get into gunfights easier. And I remember when Lion came out, people argued that even if you don't move during his scan, his gadget was still doing something because you had to stand still and it lasts so long that someone could swing you. Now that same concept kind of applies to Solace, because using most of your gadgets is now kind of a risk because she will know exactly where you are, and if she can't do anything about it, she'll call out to her teammates and then they'll do something about it, so now you are constantly being pressured. And in the back of your mind, you know that Solace is basically another Valkyrie. It's funny to think that the mind games alone with Solace can make her really strong, but paired with her amazing loadout and her gadget, and with the mind games that I just said, I believe she is the most overpowered operator right now in Siege, and I believe she needs some kind of nerfs. But how will we nerf this simple operator, you may be asking? Well, I have a few ideas. Number 1, potentially nerfing the P90, however, that will be nerfing Doc and Rook as well. And I'm going to be honest, the P90 is such a slept-on weapon, especially on Doc and Rook. And I know Doc is a little more popular than Rook, and I do believe with the 1.5, the P90 is one of the best guns in the game. But potentially removing 10 bullets like they did with Ella's Scorpion may bring down the fragging potential of the P90. And I really hope they wouldn't nerf the SMG-11 because this is a biased thing I'm about to say, but it is my favorite weapon in the entire game. And I don't necessarily think that's the issue with her. Another idea is by removing her impact grenades and forcing her to use her shotgun in order to actually make rotates. But what I would hope they would do is make it to where her gadget lasts significantly less time than it does now, because let's be honest, you never run out of battery with it. Or by decreasing the range from 13 meters to potentially 9 meters. I think one of these changes will make her so much more balanced, but she will still be fun at the same time. Or just give her a rework, I guess that's another option, but I feel like that would waste too much time on Ubisoft part. But anyway, this is just a short video I wanted to talk about with Solus because I haven't done a video on the Buff Nerf series in a long time, so I thought I would kind of go back to my roots here. And it's about that time of the video where I say that is the end of the video. And I just want to say one quick thing before I go. I recently hit 900 subs, and I wanted to personally thank you, and of course I can't say it face-to-face to you, so this is the best way to do it. And I just want to say that it really does mean a lot when you sub and help out the channel. It may not seem like it, and I probably don't say it enough, but it really does. I never thought I would make it this far, and with your help, I'm almost at 1,000 subs, which that is my goal. But I'm not going to bore you any longer. If you like what I make, obviously I appreciate it if you subscribe, and maybe recommend some of my videos to your friends. That would help out the channel, and it would mean a lot, obviously. With that said, I am Tony. I hope you have a good day, or good night, and goodbye.